Elon Musk's further proposal to the board of Twitter of paying 75% of the original price was not accepted, and Elon finally abandoned Twitter. So, since he won't be the owner of Twitter, now he has other plans. With that, as we already told you, Elon exposed the companies that were anonymously created to come after him, their owners, their source of funding, and future plans. And this leads us to Bill Gates. Recently, Elon's attempt to own Twitter is facing a lot of adversity from people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. Bill Gates revealed that he prefers Porsche to Tesla, and of course, there is a reason for it, and in response, Elon showed a big disappointment to this opinion of Bill. Also, as Gates said, he would much rather continue to spend money on serving earthly problems, like battling diseases, than waste money with space. For example, for now, Elon is contemplating how many starships will SpaceX build to take thousands of humans to Mars, and Gates apparently does not like it. Furthermore, Bill explained that what Elon Musk is doing for the environment is not that important, and he has done far more significant things for the environment than Elon. And as Bill says, to understand it, you have to look at the numbers about what causes the most emissions. A lot of things are happening between the two of them, so let's explain. Recently, Gates took an interview with a French YouTuber named Hugo Decrypt and made a jab at Musk's attempt at saving the environment while defending his own philanthropy. "I give a lot more to climate change than Elon or anyone else," Gates claimed. "I give a lot of philanthropic dollars. I back companies. Electric cars are about 16% of emissions, so we also need to solve that other 84%. After taking a shot at Musk's electric cars, Gates added, "But somebody shorting the stock doesn't slow him down or hurt him in any way." Gates made points that the biggest hurdles of climate change, in his view, being the production of steel, cement, the meat industry, are not being considered as much as aspects like electricity and passenger cars, even though they are approximately only a third of the problem at most. And Bill Gates wants to start spending more money and resources throughout a few specific directions to decrease emissions. If all you pay attention to is the short-term metrics, not the green premiums across the board, then you miss out on what is the longest lead time, which is the hard stuff. Musk's reply to Gates' series of jabs and long speech in this interview? Sigh. Musk would respond in more detail later, stating that he had refused a philanthropic donation from Gates because he had heard that Gates had $500 million bet against the company, which to Musk seemed to imply that Gates wasn't serious about climate change. Texts between the two were leaked in April, and Musk confirmed them, saying, "It's not exactly top secret." Musk went into detail about the texts later, saying, "I heard from multiple people at TED that Gates still had $500 million short against Tesla, which is why I asked him." According to Musk, he didn't leak it to the New York Times, and that they must have got it through friends of friends. Whilst they couldn't be precisely verified, aside from Musk's testimony, the texts supposedly said, "Do you still have a $500 million short position against Tesla?" After that, Gates replied, "Sorry to say, I haven't closed it out yet. I would like to discuss philanthropy possibilities." Well, that didn't please Musk at all, as he shot back, "Sorry, I can't take your philanthropy on climate change seriously when you have a massive short position against Tesla, the company doing the most to solve climate change." Since then, Musk has claimed that the rise in Tesla's stock means that the bet is now worth closer to $2 billion than $500 million now. The net worth of both companies have fallen by billions of dollars because the stock markets are fluctuating. This appears to be over fears of interest rates and rising inflation, as well as a prospect of a recession because of the pandemic. Another thing that Gates said in the interview is that he hasn't decided to join the so-called space race between Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson because he would rather spend his money tackling diseases such as malaria and measles. Musk also ended up shooting back at Gates in a more roundabout way on Twitter, as he likes to do, starting with a poll on his Twitter to ask them who they trusted less, politicians or billionaires. The results were that 76% of his followers chose that they chose politicians as the ones they didn't trust. And Musk was bombarded by curious followers to ask him what he thinks specifically of his fellow billionaires. In a response to one curious follower, Musk replied, "Since Gates still has a multi-billion-dollar short bet position against Tesla while claiming to help with global warming, I'd guess I'd have some trust issues with him too." Although the question remains as to whether Musk is speaking so badly about Gates, whether he generally doesn't believe the man's philanthropic attempts, or whether there is just bad blood between the two of them because Musk has taken Gates' lack of faith in Tesla personally. This sort of thing has happened before, with a Twitter responding to a rival Gates made of himself purchasing an all-electric Porsche Taycan. I wonder why Bill Gates decided to go with the Taycan instead of a Tesla. And Musk responding to that tweet that the pair had been in conversation before, but he had found those interactions underwhelming, TBH, to be honest. That is one of many public disagreements between the two men, but it does seem that Musk takes Gates' lack of faith in his company at least somewhat personally, or else there wouldn't be so many tweets on something as innocuous as Gates buying a new car. But perhaps Musk is correct to take it as a slight, as experts determine that a short against Tesla at this time is, in their words, a bit odd. In 2019, perhaps it would have made sense as Tesla was accumulating loss after loss, and apparently those who put a short in against Tesla in 2019 made an impressive $2.75 billion overall. It was the most profitable company to bet against, in short, in 2019. However, Tesla started turning it around in 2020, and by the time November of 2021 had rolled around, short positions had changed from around 19.6% in 2020 to a dismal 3.3% in 2021. That means that, in brief, now is definitely not the time to be betting against Tesla. That is one element which makes this short Gates has taken against Musk quite odd. The second, of course, is that despite the spats of the higher-ups, both companies have a focus in climate change and have made investments to fight it, which makes one betting for the failure of the other a tad counterproductive, to say the least. Finally, the last thing that makes it odd is the fact that Gates has continued to publicly support Tesla and Musk, telling the New York Times, "It's important to say that what Elon did with Tesla is one of the greatest contributions to climate change anyone's ever made." And to Bloomberg in 2021 that he wished he had been more on the long side of Tesla. So, what's the truth? Are electric cars only a third of the problem, and overly focusing on them is damaging? Or is the change to them one of the most important contributions to fighting climate change anyone's ever made? We may never know for sure on Gates' end. Gates is a less talkative figure online than Musk. Moreover, a few days ago, Twitter accepted Elon's request and provided detailed information to Musk about the platform, and as the Twitter board claims, the amounts of bots on the social media platform has been ascertained. So, seems like this deal is slow, but still progressing. And that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe.